keyboard and mouse makes it worse. But it's just not it's not worth the time. Okay. First 2 hours of Dark Souls 2 are the best in my opinion. I think I just think it sucks. That's about it. Yeah, it's like I would probably stick with the game and beat it if I hadn't beaten it before. But because I've already played the game, it's like I don't really feel like I don't feel compelled to beat it, if that makes sense. Did you do DLCs? Yeah, I did everything. I was watching you play Souls games. And maybe I'll play another one at some point in the future, but it's not going to be Dark Souls 2. Because I just don't... the game, it's just annoying to play. Like, I don't like using the... I don't like the controls. Like, Sekiro or Bloodborne or whatever, like any of those games are... I mean, like, I think anybody could say the controls are the same. Well, no, they're not. They're not. They're not the same. Yeah, Dark Souls 2 is designed to piss you off. Well, that's the thing, is like, I don't really like having things make me mad. Like, I don't play rage games. Like, I have very, like, I'll be completely honest. Like, I have a very, very weak grasp of, like, I have, like, very bad emotional control. Like, I get really mad really fast. And I can't turn it off. And I've tried to do other things to, like, prevent it or whatever. But, I just can't stop doing it. I just can't not get mad. And, like, the way I deal with it usually is off stream. I'll go and, you know, just lay down or something like that. And, like, I don't deal with frustration very well or anything like that. That's why I can't play other games on my stream. And it's actually a huge problem for me. But I just have never been able to get over it. And the only way I can ever get over it is to just not care about anything at all. Which is like, you could say that's a solution, but I don't really think it is. You can enjoy a feeling, the games are for you, man. Well, I like the, you're in the minority for saying it's bad. I think there's something wrong with your build or the way you play it. There's an 8-hour video that somebody made explaining in detail all of the things that are wrong with Dark Souls 2. And I would recommend you to watch that and then come back to me and tell me that it's good. Yeah, I watched the Mahler video and he's completely right in like every single point. So, I still need to do normal mode. Fuck. I guess I'll just do heroic than normal. Enjoyment shouldn't rely on build. Yeah. It's an objectively bad game, and it's the worst game in the series in a number of objective ways. And you can look at the video that expresses and explains why it's so bad. That's a lot of things for things to complain at. Yeah, it's just terrible. What's your opinion? I think that, like, to a certain degree, I actually don't think it's completely my opinion. Like with things like the what do you call it? Like the hitboxes being bad. That's not really an opinion. Like it's just a fact. I mean, yeah, like, and that's just like, it's bad, period. It's subjective. No, it's not. Do you want me to play a video and you can see how good it really is? Like, I'll play a video. There are videos that are made that show this in general. Like, this is an objective flaw in the game. And if you think that it's not, then you're just delusional. No, large majority of people don't have issue with the game. Well, of course they have an issue with the game. If they didn't have an issue with the game, you wouldn't have seen... let me see here. Dark Souls 2. You wouldn't have seen none of the Dark Souls 2 hitboxes a montage. Here we go. Let's watch this. Oh, wow. Another subjective opinion right there. It's because Dark Souls 2 is a bad game. Dark Souls 3 hitboxes are bad? I don't think so. I think Dark Souls 3 is generally pretty fair. Like, in my opinion, I think Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls 1 are two of the best games ever made. Sci-fi properly, you won't have to deal with the hitboxes. Well, you shouldn't have to do that. Just because there's a way around bad game design doesn't mean that it's not bad game design. Bloodborne 2? Bloodborne's really good. Like, there's a few bosses in Bloodborne that I don't really like, but overall I think Bloodborne's a good game. In my opinion, I think the best game is either Sekiro or it's either Sekiro or Dark Souls 3. Bloodborne's far from being perfect, besides farming heals. I think like Bloodborne has like a few mechanics about it that just make it annoying and not fun. Like Frenzy, for example, like the winter lanterns are just like so insufferably annoying to fight that, like, yeah, I would say that kind of that makes it bad. Other than that, I mean, like, being 30 FPS is like, it's kind of hard to say the game is good whenever it's 30 FPS, which is like it's kind of unfair because it's not even really the game, but I think it's a factor for sure. What about Blighttown then? I don't think Blighttown is really that bad. The only thing that I don't like about Blighttown are the NPCs that they hit you with the poison darts and then it automatically puts you it automatically puts toxic on you. And like, so you have to get out of that by what do you call it? By like wearing enough toxic resist or like poison resist. But I just don't I don't think that should be part of the difficulty. I just think like a one hit and you're dead, or that you're it reminds me of, like, you know what it reminds me of? Halo 2 Jackal snipers on Legendary, where like if they see you, you're just insta dead. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, where they one-shot you? Yeah, exactly. Pumped with Elden Ring next month? Yeah, really. I mean, I think Elden Ring's gonna be fucking awesome. Like, I never played any of the network test because I didn't want to spoil myself for the game. But I'm really looking forward to it. Hope Elden Ring isn't entirely outdoors. I just hope it's a good game. Like, I don't really care about like any of that stuff. As long as it's a good game, I'm happy. Demon Souls playthrough? I thought Demon Souls was a really good game. The remake of it was like actually, in my opinion, like amazing. The only thing I didn't really like about Demon Souls is that, like, the way that a lot of people play the game, which is I think the way I played the game, and as I said, I assume everybody probably, is you would go through one arc stone until you couldn't anymore. And then you'd go to the next one. And if you did that, and that was like the way you played the game, by the time that you got to the third arc stone, you were just massively over leveled for everything, and none of the bosses were a challenge at all. Yeah, you finish one, the rest are easy. So like, I thought that was weird. I didn't like that. But other than that, I mean, like, I played more Demon Souls probably than almost any of the other games. My drunk start with Elden Ring is not making the world too big for the amount of content there actually is. We'll have to see. How many hours? I don't know. Probably like 200 or 300 hours. If I had to guess. Easiest one figures. Demon Souls? Yeah, I think Demon Souls is the easiest game. I think Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1 are pretty much about the same. I feel like actually the games have just like over time gotten harder. Like I would say, I think Bloodborne is probably harder than Dark Souls 3. I don't know, it's like really hard for me to say. I think the reason why Bloodborne's probably harder is because Bloodborne, you don't have the same amount of like ways that you can go about killing the boss. Like with Dark Souls 3, like you guys saw whenever I did the Cinders playthrough, that like I could just completely cheese certain bosses with like blocking or something like that, right? So it's like you have so many different solutions in Dark Souls 3. It makes Dark Souls 3 easier because you have such a wide range of things that you can do. And Bloodborne, on the other hand, is much more like, there's much more like a, this is how you play Bloodborne, and if you don't play Bloodborne this way, you lose. I think the pace of Bloodborne is far more a contributing factor. Yeah, you have to be a lot faster in Bloodborne for sure. I would agree with you there. Essentially do anything you want in Dark Souls 3 and have it work, which is why I love the game. Yeah, that's why, like, I think that the amount of freedom and adaptability that Dark Souls 3 has makes it like the best game in that regard. And that's why I think you see so many different mods for Dark Souls 3. Is because the game has so much of a wide range of things that you can do in it, versus like, for example, Bloodborne, where there's not really a lot that you can do in the game. And Dark Souls 3 or 2 for that matter has a lot of things you can do too. Like there are some good things about Dark Souls 2. Like for example, you can level up multiple weapons. Don't pause, I already had that. Because most of the time in like a Dark Souls 3 or Dark Souls 1 playthrough, you can only get like a very small amount of Titanite slabs in order to fully upgrade a weapon. And Dark Souls 2 doesn't have that problem. Dark Souls 3 is the only one's optimized for PC, not controller. I think that the 2016 or whatever, like the Dark Souls remastered, Dark Souls 1 remastered, is perfectly fine on PC. Yeah, I've never had any problems at all with it, really. They're already modding Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3. Yeah, I watched, I think like Squirrel Killer or something like that. Is playing a mod, and I've like watched a few of his clips for it. Excited for the Lord of the Rings TV show? Not really. I think it's going to be bad because they're going to try to make it like Game of Thrones. Convergence mod soon? Yeah, maybe I'll play the Convergence mod at some point for Dark Souls 3. I just feel like I just did Dark Souls 3, so I don't know if I want to do it again at this time. You only going for unique appearances? Yeah, I am. Dark Souls 1 comes out strong as unfinished first side. I think that the Dark Souls 1 from like start to Anor Londo and to finishing Anor Londo is the best of any FromSoft game has to offer. Like it's probably the best type of gameplay like ever. But after Anor Londo, like, and this is kind of the same problem that, like, it's funny to actually mention this. It's the same problem that BFA had, is that or not even BFA, that like leveling has in WoW, where like once you level in like 1 or 2 zones, you completely out level the rest of the zones, and it's not a challenge anymore to beat them. So like after you do, like what do I do usually is I'll go to, as soon as I finish and I get the Lord Vessel, let's say I'm going to do New Londo, right? Because I think New Londo is a good idea, because that way you get the Ember and you can upgrade your weapon past +10, right? So like you go over there and let's say you beat the 4 kings, and by the time that you get to Seath the Scaleless, you're gonna have a +15 weapon, and you're gonna be like soft capped on probably at least 1 DPS stat, whether it's dexterity or strength or whatever. So like it just gets way easier. Need to finish getting over it. Nah, the game hurt my hand. Like it just made my hand uncomfortable. Final Fantasy's dead, Asmon. The reason I'm not playing Final Fantasy right now is because there's nothing for me to do that I want to do. It's literally that simple. You get too powerful, too fast in Dark Souls 1. Yeah. But it's like a good example of this is like in WoW. Like imagine if you had to stop playing WoW at level 30. Like how long would you have things to do in WoW? Not very long. And that's kind of what happened with Final Fantasy. Is that like, yeah, there are things to do, like leveling up professions and stuff like that, but that's not really fun for me. You know, like I don't play the game to do stuff like that. Like what I like doing is I like doing like dungeons and raids and stuff. I'm wasting 10% of the content in Final Fantasy. Well, yeah, but like what I'm saying is that some of the content isn't really it's not really content to me. You could do hunt trains, that's decent. No, you can't, because I would do hunt trains if I could, but half of the hunt trains, it's like it's like I'm not high enough level to go to a certain area. So like it's a boss, it's like level 75 or something like that in Stormblood, and I can't go over there because I haven't unlocked that area. Is that why you level? Well, yeah, but like I'm not leveling because I'm going to do it on my mainstream. There's low level hunt trains too. There are, but there's not really a distinction between them. So like whenever I'm playing Final Fantasy, like I'll try to like if I see one, I'll click on, because they'll like link the location for the NPC, and like I'll look at what the location is and I'll be like, oh, can I go kill this one? And most of the time the answer is no. So it's not like I don't do it at all. It's that there's not really a lot of options for me to be able to do it. Does that make sense? He's still relatively unspoiled on MSQ going forward. Yeah, pretty much. Like I'm at, like apparently in Walker, there's some guy named Xenos, and he's an asshole. I don't know. I think he's the one with the scythe, the Reaper scythe. That's about all I know. The awkward things, Dark Souls 2, and you got to work around it and we're playing on the keyboard. I hope you're having fun with other stuff in it. No, I don't think the game is good. Like, I think on just, as I said, a structural level, it's a bad game. Like, if you get down to the very bare bones skeleton of the game, it's bad. It's kind of like New World, where like the very framework and skeleton of the game is bad. In terms of like the way that characters move and the way they interact with the environment, and just like the way the responsiveness is bad. Nice. Fucking got him, boys. I'd watch you chop wood in New World than this. Well, you're in luck, because when does the patch come out for New World? It's pretty soon. Let's talk about sexism in gaming. Oh god. I always see, I think that a lot of people don't really know how to talk about sexism in gaming, because they don't really understand like where it comes from or like what it is. Because I see like a lot of conversations about it and people that like they'll argue about it, and it's just like always it just sounds dumb every time. People, that's what I do, don't want to be moralized to. Well, this is kind of like the issue, is that like no audience of people, and this is just like a general, this is something I've kind of learned, and I learned this like in the process of like the Blizzard stuff, is that I think that I was a little bit too sanctimonious with how I acted with the Blizzard stuff. And it wasn't even really that it's not that I said anything wrong, it's the way that I said it. Because sometimes whenever I was talking about it, it kind of came off as if I was talking to my audience, which really is not the case, because like my audience isn't the ones doing this stuff, it's just people that work at this company. And so I think that I probably will try to have like a more measured approach of things. Does that make sense? You're playing the South Park games? Yeah. So it's not that I was like, I would say like wrong about what I said. I think I was right, but it's just the way I said it, I think came off as like, in some cases, like sanctimonious and like patronizing, because the truth is that like a lot of my audience are not the guys that need to hear this. I mean, I'm sure some are. I mean, every video game content creator has people like this in their audience, but it's not like there's something intrinsic to my audience that I need to address personally. What'd you say? Just generally that like I mean, I was very negative about Blizzard, and that's about it. Facts and info, people talking what they're saying. I think it's the tone and the demeanor. Because like I saw this thing where it was like G4, and there was like some girl on G4 who is mad that like I guess people think that she's not hot enough to be on the show or something like that. And it's like, I always think that it's a bad idea to like talk down to your audience. And I'm not even really sure like that's what the problem is. Does that make kind of what I'm saying? No sexism in video games when the community is behind making the games. That's why the WoW paintings piss me off. Yeah, I didn't like the WoW painting stuff either. But it's like whenever you address comments like that and you talk about it like that, like here's an element of sexism that I think a lot of like guys don't really see, is that I guess like the barrier to entry, like for a lot of girls, in order for a girl to earn the approval of like guys in like a community, I think that they have to do more in order to earn that approval. And like for example, if there's a guy who like comes into like a gaming community or something like that, you're assumed to be authentic. But whenever a girl does it, there are often times where people want to have like purity tests, or they want to have some form of like, oh, does she really like this game, or is she just saying this? And it's like, I kind of got a little bit of that with Final Fantasy. People are like, oh, well, he doesn't really like the game, he just thinks this. And I think that for girls it's very common that happens. See you later, Jibu. Good night, man. Two sides to this, because sometimes they get approval instantly and the entire community shapes around them. I don't really have any... I'd never see that happen. Oh, fuck. And it's kind of like they're seen as like... and like this isn't just for women, right? There are other people that have this happen too. But I think that women are probably the easiest example. So like people will expect you to like kind of prove to them that you that your feelings are legitimate, you know, about the game. They all wear makeup? What's with that? Well, girls wear makeup because if they don't, guys will say they're ugly. And so will other girls, and that, for that matter. It's not like it's just a, it's like a, oh, you know, men are, you know, trash or whatever. Like, women do the same thing. Oh, it's over there now. About time girl enters a small group, a friend group, and the guys shift their attention to them instead of what they're doing. I think that that'll be a lot less of a problem for you once you reach the age of probably like 25. Like I would have that stuff happen whenever I was like a teenager or so, but like once I get older, that doesn't really happen anymore. I think it's just something that like young guys are used to. Don't male celebs wear makeup as well? Yeah, some do. If they just do whatever, doesn't get them called ugly, we should say they look ugly with makeup. I don't know, I think that's weird, man. But all I'm saying is, like, I do think that there's a legitimate problem with, like, sexism and, like, girls being treated differently, and there being double standards for women online, definitely. But I think that, like, whenever you go and you take... whenever you talk down to your audience, you create a lot of resentment inside of that audience, because there's a lot of guys probably that are in that audience that, you know, they don't really give a shit one way or another, right? They're just there for the content. And I think if you go and you try to you like push people in a direction, you're like, oh, you're either with us or against us, they're gonna be against you every time, because people just don't like being treated that way. And it's not even really about what you're doing, it's just nobody likes being pushed around and like guilt tripped into doing things. This whole Gillette thing, to be honest, that's another example. Yeah, being told as if you don't know that you're as an asshole is bad. Well, that's what I'm kind of saying, right? Is like if you, it's patronizing, and I think that whenever you patronize your audience, you will earn their resentment. Does it make them wrong though? I think that if you communicate in a way that alienates people, that you are wrong. Yeah, I think that it's a matter of it's not a matter of like being right or wrong, it's a matter of like using a bad strategy to express yourself. Like there's a lot of times whenever people, like, I think that Destiny has this problem, for example, where a lot of times he'll be right about something, but just the way he'll act will be so off-putting for some people that they'll still disagree with him even though they know he's right, because just the way he's saying it makes them mad. And I know it sounds weird, but like that's, I think I have this problem sometimes too. Kind of like Trump. Yeah, Trump had the same problem. Is it like, if Trump would say something, even if he would say something that would make sense, the way he would say it and just like the way he would act would be so off-putting for people that nobody wanted to listen to him even if he was right. I think it's the same thing with Destiny. It's the same thing that I've had happen, and it just happens a lot. Communication kills after skills run people over. Yeah, exactly. Space Force is one example. Like, I don't want to go through like a million political examples. All I'm saying is that I think this is it's an issue that happens with a lot of people. And it is a matter of like communication, because people get used to having other people like listen to them no matter what. And because they're so used to having other people listen to them regardless of how they act or behave, they just get used to talking down to people and being obnoxious, because it doesn't matter if they're obnoxious or not, because people still have to listen. So it's like, to a degree, like they don't have to earn their audience anymore because they already have it, or they don't have to earn the is the word approval? They don't have to earn the agreement of people anymore because they think that they're just right and everybody should listen to them in general. Don't fog, I already have it. Trump's not misunderstood. You're just totally missing the point. Like, I know you don't like Trump, it's fine. You just totally, like, you're not even, like, you're, like, talking, like, I don't even know who you're talking to. It has literally nothing to do with what I'm saying. Just proving the point. Yeah, in a way I am. Or in a way he is. And so, yeah, like, it's something that, like, I've tried to learn a lot over the years, is like how to communicate with people and how to talk to people in a way that makes them agree with you. And I think that I've gotten a lot better at it over the years, and it's something that I just keep doing, because in a way it's like it's like almost like a form of mind control, right? It's like, if you can talk to somebody the right way, you can make them do what you want. And like that, you guys know the way I feel about like scamming people and stuff like that. And so like, it's almost like it's almost like scamming people, right? It's like scales tactics. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, how can I sell somebody on an idea? Because like, you're really selling. In a way, it is just like sales. But instead of selling a car, you're selling an idea, or you're selling a mindset to have, or you're selling a value system. There we go. Asmon, am I scamming you? Yes. Certain people in positions of power. What they really want to say is terrible, but it doesn't sound that way whenever you hear it. Yeah, exactly. Just like with Jedi mind trick, it only works with the weak-minded. Can think for themselves, still intake information. I think most people fall victim to the way that language is construed. I think that almost everybody does. So I don't think it's just like, oh, well, I'm super smart and like that doesn't happen to me. Because I think there's a lot of people that if I ever talk about something like this, they'll have to insist that they're not one of the people that can be taken advantage of or something like that. I think it just comes from a place of insecurity. It's like they have to like constantly remind themselves that they're smart. Everyone insists they won't get scammed until they do. Well, the funny thing is it's actually easier to scam somebody who thinks they're smart rather than scamming somebody who thinks they're stupid. And it's like my dad always told me that like one way to win in life is to use people's biggest strengths and turn them into their biggest weaknesses. And I think that it's a really good way to do that, because if you can convince somebody and play into the, you know, like what they think they're really smart or whatever, if you can convince them of something, they will hold on to that idea even whenever they shouldn't, because it will create dissonance in their mind to assume that they could have been taken advantage of. You play into their ego. Let's just copium them? Yeah, exactly. You think they're smart and you scam them by giving them a smart option? Yeah, exactly. Smart people realize how little they are and stupid people think they know everything. Well, there's like a middle ground where it's like... Have you guys ever seen like the meme where it's like the bell curve, and it's like the one guy with like the eyes on the side of his head, and then on the other side it's like the guy with the hood on as like being the really smart guy and like the really dumb guy, and the really smart guy and the really dumb guy think the same thing, and then the guy in the middle is the one who's thinking the stupid thing. That's where you really scam people. Is like, yeah, you'll get dumb people, etc., for sure, but a lot of times you'll get people in like that middle area that it's very easy to take advantage of somebody like that. The midwit? Yeah, it's kind of what the phrase is. And it's not like an instance of like like I'm smarter or you're smarter than they are or whatever. Anybody can be taken advantage of. Like I've gotten scammed out of stuff. Like, it didn't happen a lot. Like, it was very uncommon for me to get scammed, but it's happened. And the way it happens usually is if you let your guard down. What's the worst you ever got scammed out of? There was one time somebody scammed me out of $100. That fucking pissed me off. I got him back for it, so it was not really a big deal. But let me think. I'm sure I've gotten scammed out of other things too. I'd have to really just think about it. That's the first thing that I can think of is like something I would say on stream. Damn. This gun's hard to get. Your dad got scammed out with WoW membership? Yeah, exactly. A lot of them use the smart option thing where the victim will try to scam the scammer. Yeah, you can sometimes do that. I had one guy that I used to do that with a lot because he was just really stupid and he thought he was really smart and I hated him, and so like I would fucking scam this guy all the time. He was my favorite. Like I remember one time oh my god. So one time this guy, his name was his name was like 50 Cal or something like that, and he was a good player and he wanted to buy a bear run, and I was selling the bear runs for 12,500 gold. Like this was the this was the amount that I was selling it for, and the guy messaged me and he wanted to pay 12,400 gold, and I said fuck you, I'm not gonna, and like I'm not gonna do that. It was in Cataclysm and so I said no, you're gonna pay me the whole amount, not 100 gold less, because it's like out of principle, because I hated this guy. And so then he goes 12,450. I say no, bitch, 12,500, and you're gonna get the goddamn mount right now, so just shut up and give me the money. And he says okay, 12,499. I said no, bitch, I'm not gonna do it. You're gonna pay me the 12,500 or you're not getting the fucking bear. He says, okay, fine. And so he stops messaging me for a while. He messages me back about 30 minutes later. He says, okay, final offer, 13,499 gold. I said, wait, what? 13,499 gold? He says, yep, that's right. That's all I'm gonna pay. I'm not gonna give you what you want, you idiot. And I'm like, you know what? You drive a hard bargain, sir. But I think we're gonna have to go on ahead and get you your bear. Good show. And so this stupid piece of shit scams himself out of 1,000 gold. And I remember doing that. I was so happy doing his bear run. Poor guy, I forgot the price. Like, I hated him so much. And I like, like you always sell things to the same people, right? And so like, I was very much a person who, like, I would want to have good relationships with people that I would sell to regularly. And that way they would refer their friends, and also they would keep buying stuff. And this was one of the only people that bought things from me regularly that I did not have a good relationship with. Like usually it was like Jeff. Like Jeff would have the bad relationship and I would have the good relationship. Sounds like a drug dealer. Well, honestly, like so so we had a friend who was a drug dealer, and like we knew him forever, right? And like he would sell drugs pretty much all the time, and like he lived with Eric for years. I remember like one time he played WoW. It wasn't Cody. He played WoW, and Eric told him that my rating in WoW was 2.5k, and I remember he was talking mad shit and he just paused right in the middle of a party, And he was just like, no, how can you be 2.5k? It doesn't even go up that high. Like, he was just such a fucking noob. And anyway, like, one time the guy got a gun pulled on him, and this is like right whenever we first met him, and it was pretty crazy. Bring up rating at a party. Yeah. And like, yeah, the guy, I forgot what it was. Like, I wasn't there for the story. I think Eric and Jason were there, because like Eric and Jason, like, they knew him way better than I did. And like, I knew him, right? And like, he and I were friends, but like, it was mainly, you know, I mean, it was Eric's roommate, so like, that's what I knew. So the guy took a gun and put it on this, like, right up to his head. And I forgot even why. I think he thought he got scammed or something like that. It was crazy. So it's like, yeah, if you're selling drugs, like, it's actually even more important if you're doing things that are illegal to maintain good relationships with people. Which is like kind of a weird thing, but like, whenever you're dealing with things that are illegal and like selling like drugs or anything else, you have to have a good relationship with the people that you're dealing with, because if you don't, then you don't have the normal types of recourse that like than a person would know, or that a person would have, right? Like, I mean, you can't go to the cops, you can't talk to your credit card and have them refund the transaction. So it's like really, really important. Yeah, you can't call customer support. So there's just like, there's so much trust that has to go into it. And that's like not even counting like, you know, being worried about getting turned in or ratted out or something like that. It's ultimate free market. Yeah, in a way it is. I mean, it's not really a free market, but yeah, in a way. Everything wants things to go smoothly. Yeah, yeah, and that's the main thing, is that, like, you'll have cases where like that doesn't happen, and like that's happened to friends of mine too, where like I don't know if I should tell this. No, but like I had a thing, like, basically this guy wanted to buy like it's a friend of mine, he wanted to buy like a certain amount of drugs to resell, and the guy wouldn't sell him that amount. He would only sell him an amount that was like way more. And like, he only wanted to sell basically it was like $150,000 worth of drugs instead of what the guy had wanted to buy from. And they'll do that in order to kind of always make it to where like you owe them, or you are you're behind, basically. And so only, yeah, well, it wasn't like a lot, but it was a good amount. Yeah, yeah, they'll front you some, so like you always owe them and you're always on the back foot. And like, that's always the scariest stuff to deal with, because like nobody wants to do that if they don't have bad intentions. And it's went on the block. No, it was actually more. I think I'm getting to it, to the details, but that was not the case. That wasn't what it was. No, it's fucked. Loan sharks for sure. Yeah. And like, the way I've always done things is like, any time that somebody deviates from what's agreed upon, I immediately pull out. Like, even like a very small deviation, I immediately pull out. And that's a really good bit of advice, like, especially for buying something. And like, this is really important to do whenever you're buying something from somebody that you can't really return very easily, is that the person will act above the board and will never be suspicious unless they're trying to scam you. Like, Jeff would do this all the time, and it was so annoying to me, because he would try to sell shit to people, and then he would change the price. Like, we would meet up with somebody and he would change the price, and it's like, oh my god, like, this is just, and like, you don't know what this person's gonna do. Like, agreed amount or no deal. Yeah, it's that simple. Yeah, Jeff, like, honestly, I don't know how Jeff never got shot. And I genuinely mean that. Like, I have no idea how Jeff did not get shot for all the bullshit that he would pull. Like, it's just... Jeff's a veteran? He's actually a disabled veteran. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's not worth the risk. Well, I don't know. I mean, he'd been doing it for like years. Likeable, I guess. Well, like, yeah, there was just like never even there was never a time where he got in any sort of like really bad situation. Well, I guess there was like one, but like that wasn't even really his fault, actually. He should pull the same amount, then broke out one of the 20s to take on a subway and wanted to give me the amount less than 2 subway fares. I was tempted to walk, but I just wanted the thing sold. Yeah, and like if you're making a one-time sale, like, and this is kind of what I mean, is that like if this isn't like what you do regularly, then there's no real reason for you to care if like, oh, somebody's being a little bit shady. You're just trying to get your money and get the fuck out of there. But like if you're gonna work with this person like regularly and there's anything shady, like man, no shot. What's the difference between that and bartering? I think that it's obvious whenever it's obvious. Have your friends changed once they found out you had money? Do they come and ask you for money all the time? No. No, it's the same shit. The truth is, like, a lot of my friends are also like very well off. Not all of them, but a good amount of them are. Yeah, from selling drugs? No. No, absolutely not. They actually have real jobs. Even the non-streamer friends. Well, that's what I mean, is like the non-streamer friends. Like almost all of my friends that I grew up with, most of them make like 6 figures now. Because like you have to remember, like, you know, these are people that are like in their 30s now. And so they've had like, you know, a few years, you know, maybe sometimes in that case like 10 years in a career. Experience pays off. Yeah, I mean, they worked hard. They got what they needed to get. Kind of careers. Engineering, data science, let's see, nuclear power plant operator, IT. I have 2 friends that work in IT. And Homer Simpson. I'll tell you, it's Jason who's the nuclear power plant operator. And I cannot express how terrifying that is. Jason used to be able to make a sound like a pterodactyl. And the earliest video he has on the internet is him with all of his clothes on in a bathtub full of water, drinking Jägermeister. Drunk as fuck. And he's one of the main people at a nuclear power plant. Yeah, it's a little bit scary. He's also the same person who he told me that He's like, so yeah, man, I saw that you're streaming on Twitch and everything. And I actually, you know, I've got Amazon Prime. Marissa and I have Amazon Prime, his wife. And so we decided to use it on your stream. And I said, damn, dude, thanks. He's like, yeah. So at the end of the year, I'll be expecting that money back. So just let me know. And so, yeah, that's Jason. Because it was free, right? Kickback rewards, yeah. Reimbursed, yeah. Are you gonna know Life Lost Ark? Yeah, I am. Alright, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and head out. I think tomorrow I'm gonna probably start working on getting some of my arena gear. And just start working on that. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I'm gonna do tomorrow or not. I have no idea. I might play New World. I might just play some Final Fantasy. I've kind of missed playing Final Fantasy. There's not a lot for me to do, but like, it'll be something. Yeah, anyway, I'll see y'all later. Peace.